Hello, I'm Robin Warner, and I'm about to drive the 2021 Nissan Rogue Platinum. The Nissan Rogue is a small sport utility vehicle with four-wheel drive that seats 5 and comes in 4 trims: S, SV, SL, and Platinum, which makes the Rogue you see here the top trim in the lineup. Having the Platinum trim available on the Rogue is new for 2021, which adds more amenities and luxury appointments than offered before. Things like high-quality leather seating, a 9-inch display, a head-up display, heated rear seats, ambient lighting, and wireless smartphone charging pad. This particular Rogue includes illuminated kick plates for $400, external ground lighting for $350, interior accent lighting also for $350, two-tone paint for yet another $350, and a frameless rear-view mirror with universal remote for $310. The Nissan Rogue starts at $26,745 for a front-wheel drive S model. My test car costs $39,685. Its main competitors are the Ford Escape, Honda CR-V, and Toyota RAV4. The Rogue is powered by a 2.5-liter inline-4, producing as much as 181 horsepower and also 181 pound-feet of torque. That power goes through a continuously variable transmission, or CVT, and onto all 4 wheels. It is 183 inches long, 72.4 inches wide, and 66.9 inches tall. The Nissan Rogue Platinum tips the scales at 3,633 pounds. This combination is good for 25 miles per gallon in the city, 32 on the highway, and 28 combined. This according to the EPA. However, if you get the base model front-wheel drive Rogue S, those figures improve to 27 city, 35 highway, and 30 combined. That's because, as you can see on the screen, fuel economy depends on both trim level, because of curb weight, and whether it's front or all-wheel drive. This makes this version of Rogue that I'm in now the least fuel-efficient one you can buy. Regardless of that, I think the Nissan Rogue makes a compelling case for itself, as long as you're not a diehard driving enthusiast. But before I take it for a drive, I want to take a minute to show you around and inside the car. Taking a quick look at the front of the 2021 Nissan Rogue, the upper lights you see are actually the daytime running lights, and the lower lights, the bigger ones in the middle, those are your headlights. And then if you look in down below, those are the fog lights down there, kind of in that lower valence right there. And then of course Nissan calls it their double V-motion grille. Let's take a quick look inside the 2021 Rogue here. And to start, for the Platinum package, I really liked the stitched Napa leather they use on the trim and the seats. This is the tan color. There are a couple other color options for the inside. You also have a nice 12-inch digital dashboard, they call it, screen for the instrument cluster. You have a big head-up display and a 9-inch infotainment screen. You also get wireless charging and wired charging, cup holders. There's your drive mode selector. And you get a nice amount of storage, both upper and lower. Of course, this opens like that, clamshell style. When it works, there it goes. And then in back, you've got these really nice wide opening doors. Look at that, that's almost 90 degrees. You get the same nice leather, of course. And check it out, heated rear seats as well, not to mention the USB charging and independent climate control. This is a 3-zone climate control. And speaking of heated things, of course, the front has heated seats and heated steering wheel. That's nice in January in Michigan, let me assure you. Taking a quick look at the cargo area of the Rogue. Nice little button here. Nissan claims that there is 36.5 cubic feet of cargo area, and I had some shopping to do anyway, so there's some water softener, some furnace filters, and some foam core board here that I had to buy. That's 30 inches long, so 30 inches wide across there by 20 inches deep. Just give you a sense. So like I said, Nissan claims 36.5 cubic feet of cargo area. One more thing about cargo. When I was talking about depth and width, I was actually talking about that foam core that I bought. It's actually more than 3 feet deep and 43 inches across, and that's beneath the wheel wells there. So it was a foam core that was 20 by 30, not the actual cargo area. The other neat thing about this cargo area is they have this thing called divide and hide, or hide and divide. I'm actually not sure which order. And right now, this is the flat floor upper level of divide and hide, but these panels are removable and they're on these pins, so you can move them around to a lower level to get a little bit more space, or you can put things underneath that if you have something long and low you want to tuck in, keep protected. And this piece closer to the tailgate actually is on pins and can rotate vertically so that you can have two separate pieces in your cargo area to have less sliding around or different materials, or if you want to keep things separate, which is a nice feature. There's also a nice convenience feature to open up the cargo door by waving your foot underneath it near the center, making it hands-free. You can then load the cargo area and close it again with the press of a button. There's a lot I like about this new 2021 Nissan Rogue. There's a lot of convenience, there's a lot of features, there's a lot of options. I mean, even before you get moving, you have auto start, so you can start the car from well outside and get it running and warmed up before you get in, which is nice when you live in Michigan in January and there's snow on the ground. And that's also true of all the heated things. I have a heated seat, I have a heated steering wheel, and I have heated seats in back too. And there's a lot of wireless features. I have a wireless charging pad for my smartphone. I have wireless Apple CarPlay, so I can charge my phone and use it for podcasts and whatever else without ever plugging in a cord. You do have lots of USB cords to plug into in both front and in back. You also have a lot of other features. I have a 9-inch touchscreen to use here. I have a 12-inch instrument cluster, which gives me options there, and I have a nice heads-up display as well. I also have options when it comes to drive modes. There's 5 of them. I have off-road, I have standard, comfort, snow, and eco. And I'm actually in eco right now, just doing my little bit for the planet. And so there's a lot of good to this car in terms of flexibility and stuff like that. And then moreover, Nissan did a lot of work to include a healthy amount of safety equipment. So this Rogue has 10 airbags, which that's a big number. There's going to be cushion everywhere, I think is the take-home point from that. You also get something that Nissan called Safety Shield 360, which is your usual suite of driving aids. Things like automatic emergency braking, lane departure, blind spot warning, stuff like that. But the one I personally like is automatic high beam assist. It's just a nice little comfort thing. But then there's also just general comfort. This Nissan has something called zero gravity seats. And while the engineer in me feels very compelled to say that gravity is still very much in force in this Nissan, they are comfortable, and that is nice. There's just a lot of things that make it just a little bit more convenient and pleasant to be in this car. A lot of those things are because of the Platinum trim, but things like the Safety Shield 360, that's standard across the board, and there's a lot of other stuff that you still get in any level Nissan. None of those things are tied to driving, of course, but the good news is that there's a lot of good when it comes to driving as well. The car in general rides well. It's maybe a little firm for some, but I like it. It's a good combination of taut and responsive, but still plenty comfortable. It's never jarring or anything like that. And because they made the decisions for the ride that they did, it also handles pretty darn well, especially considering that we're in an SUV and the small SUV class. You've got less motion, more body control than you'd expect. Doesn't roll too much in the corners, and pitch and dive as you're braking and accelerating isn't bad either. And to that end, powertrain is pretty decent. It's not overwhelmed with power, certainly, but the engine, the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, while it isn't all new, it was pretty thoroughly updated, and you get 181 horsepower, 181 pound-feet of torque. That's 11 more horsepower and 6 more pound-feet of torque than the outgoing engine. And with the CVT, Nissan has been using CVTs for a long time now, and they're getting pretty darn good at tuning them to not feel like slow to react and sluggish and those types of things. They have this thing, I think they call it Xtronic, where it kind of mimics shifts, but it's a lot of shifts. You keep the engine in high revs if you're accelerating hard, and so you're always in the power or torque peaks, and you get a lot of usable power that way. And if you think to yourself, 181 horsepower, that's not very much. Well, keep in mind, the Honda CR-V has 190 horsepower, 9 more, but 179 pound-feet of torque, 2 less. So it's right there. It's very competitive. So you have a darn decent ride, better than expected handling, powertrain that's plenty competitive in terms of objective performance and fuel economy, and you've got all these features and amenities and options to play with. So a lot of really good things. What's not quite as good is the refinement and the driving feel. That's where Nissan just falls a little bit behind. When it comes to refinement, that 2.5 liter makes good power, but it sounds a little bit coarse while it's doing it. I mean, let me just give you a brief example of it right now. That's pretty decent acceleration, and as you can hear, the CVT gives you pretty good response. It's not the fastest shifting thing in the world, because it's actually never shifting, but you get moving at a pretty reasonable pace. The problem is, you can hear it's just not quite as smooth as the others. The engine sounds a little bit coarse, and the transmission engagement isn't quite as refined as you like. And at the exact same time, the throttle map, which is the programming of how much acceleration you get based on how much you push down on the throttle pedal, that's pretty darn aggressive at tip-in. So that makes it harder to have smooth launches and smooth engagements. Sometimes the car can feel a bit surgy, and that's a little bit unpleasant. And to that end, that's true of the handling as well. While it's pretty good objectively, the steering feel isn't quite there. It doesn't feel quite as precise to place the car, and the feel from the car, you don't get as positive engagement as you would in others. And those types of things just take away from the driving fun. It's perfectly capable, it's just not enjoyable as you do it. So, does that really matter? Do buyers care? The vast majority of buyers, I would argue, don't. The vast majority of buyers aren't diehard driving enthusiasts and don't mind those things, and will instead appreciate all the aforementioned amenities and things you get. And to that end, I think Nissan probably did a good job to cater to the needs of the vast majority of buyers out there. Just for the enthusiasts, know that cars are out there that have better steering and overall driver engagement and a little bit more refinement. And that even includes cars in this class. But hey, I've got nice warm hands, I've got a nice warm back, I'm comfortable, I've got some hot tea to drink, I have some podcasts to listen to, so I'm just going to keep driving for a while. I'm Robin Warner. Thank you for watching.